let me grab the.
I'm started the recording and we're about to get into game one. They've already been waiting a while.
Okay, I'm pulling up the challenge page right now.
Starting the match in 3,
What else should
2, 1. Game
besides
one
Endy.
underway on Megas, and we have a very far blue
Go.
for both of these players to get. They're both going to try and super jump over. Endy with the better line. Icky falls, and that's going to be an early lead to Endy, you have to imagine. He's going to be able to secure the blue. Icky tries to get in range to blast it, but is not going to be able to do so. Icky denies the super speed. And should have a much better line here for this spawn. Mega Marble might come in handy here as well. Never a bad power-up to have on Megas, of course. Oh, huge Mega there from Icky. Gonna send Endy flying off. Icky will get the prize in the center of this spawn. Oh, but next spawn is a repeat, and Endy is still here. So he's gonna be blasted from the second yellow, so they're gonna split those. Very tight game so far, even with the first blue going solely to Endy. Nice super speed line by Endy. Counteracts any potential blast Icky had up his sleeve.
Yeah, and a really nice bounce from him. Controlling after that awkward bounce on the slope. But fantastic, setting him up for the rest of the spawn.
Yeah, another great spawn there from Endy. Beautiful blast to knock Icky down. However, they're just trading blows back and forth with these spawns. Endy has actually come out on top of the blast game so far in this game, which is honestly the #1 thing you need to do to win a game of Megas.
Yeah, this is like a spawn that you would want to start with. It's not like obviously dominating the first few spawns is the most ideal case, but being able to prove that you can collect the most points in a very tight match with between Endy and Icarus with very similar playstyles is exactly what you want to be tuned with. Being able to prove that you can just get the slight edge above your opponent in a match between two players with similar playstyles, having that lead by just a few points can make a statement for the rest of the game.
Absolutely.
And even for the rest of the match.
Yeah, these two players neck and neck the entire game, but now the double blue has spawned and Icky has gotten there first with another huge blast.
Really well done by him.
Two blues going the way of Icky with that blast.
Huge for Icarus. Phenomenal way to start that.
And it's back! And Icky is again in better position. The blues, these are what have always come to him this season.
Unbelievable!
All four!
And he really needs one here.
All four went to Icarus.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Icarus is leading by, 20 points, which, on a map like Megas, sometimes it's not too hard to make a comeback just because it's a very points-heavy map. But at the same time, again, these two players have very similar playstyles, and considering that, it's very easy for the point differential to stay static for a while, considering that they both play the same way.
Yeah, this game was neck and neck the entire thing, and then suddenly those two repeat double blue spawns, which are pretty rare to see, completely opened this lead on its own, and now Endy seems to have lost all momentum in this game. The lead is only growing.
By Icarus to pick up those couple of yellows.
Oh, we have another chance for Endy to get back in the game, perhaps, but Icarus is just faster. Oh, he misses the blue on the side of it instead of above or below. That's kind of a rare way to miss it. Endy gonna get
It's always the nicest feeling. It's always the nicest feeling when your opponent misses a blue that you're second to, and you just have all the time in the world to pick up that blue. It gives you just a moment, which is oftentimes all you need to get not a huge points advantage, but kind of recover yourself, especially if you're behind. Recover by picking up another blue. That blue is making another appearance right now, which Icarus does a fantastic job of making. But yeah, when you're behind and your opponent misses a blue, it gives you a great amount of time to just kind of recover and pick up the rest of the spawn while your opponent has to go through the whole process of going into bounds and respawning. So that'll help Endy a little bit, but he's still what's that, 50 points behind.
Yeah,
this is probably not
going
to be
completely done. Uh, the lead just completely ballooned after that sequence of double blues for Icarus. Endy couldn't really get a foot in the door after that. It is back for one more last hurrah. This time, Endy's going to be able to get them uncontested because Icarus was just fooling around. Actually shares the second blue there with a beautiful super jump snipe. But that is going to be it
That's
for
a
game one.
really, really hard snipe to do. Usually that blue in the middle of the blocks is more easily obtainable when you're already up on that tower. Getting that from the super jump directly is really tough. So you have to appreciate Icarus for being able to pull that immediately. So going into the next map here, we have Sweet Parpet, Vortex Effect, Fun of the Sun, and Epicenter to contest on between these two players. What's the how does Endy get back into that match? Icarus currently is 1-1 on this.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about that yet.
On this match in total.
But Endy is
Yeah,
starting with the
let's
game
cover
up.
that real quick. Please give us the context, just in case. Given that we've had a couple days to rest between the two halves of these matches.
Yeah, so this game was originally scheduled for, I think, Saturday. It's currently being recorded on Wednesday, August 5th. So a couple days since, but Icky unfortunately had a health issue at the start of that series. So Endy had two very dominant wins at the start of that match. And ultimately, it was agreed upon to postpone with the condition that Endy would start up the series 1-0, and other than that, be a full reset. So that's what we're doing here today. But Icky's already tied it up.
And we have to give a lot of sportsmanship to Endy for being just wholeheartedly willing to be able to, just continue to ride this match out. And frankly, starting on a 1-1 record for both of these players, essentially reverting them back to a clean slate. You can almost think of it as the best of five. And I could say time and time again, these two players have very similar play style and are both very equally skilled. So this should be a really exciting match over the next 5 games at most. And being able to start on at a tied score is awesome. Just in terms of content, drama, and just being able to see who's really going to come out as the top player between these two.
Very much agreed. You can see just how close the start of that game was. It was completely even for the first 2 minutes. They were taking the same lines. They were trading blasts back and forth. But you can see on the margin over time chart, those 4 blues for Icarus just completely blew open the game. And from there, it was a very one-sided affair. So Endy's going to get a fresh start here and another chance. But Fun of the Sun's definitely an interesting one because it's more melee heavy, which I would have to think Icarus is a little bit favored on. What would you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, given that both of these players, playing very similar same styles, it's tough to raise one over the other when it comes to who might be the favorite. It's purely just maybe who has played this more, but even both players after the first spawn starting with the same amount of points. Endy's going to reach that blue well before Icarus does, and picking up the next yellows after that. That is already 9 points for him, even without the reds. So I admit my my broadcast is starting to lag a little bit, especially since download DQ. Icarus takes with the volleyball courts and missing the yellow gem. And ending with a nice, comfortable 10-point lead with 3 minutes, 10 seconds left on the clock. Normally on these rafts, spawns, if you will, oftentimes you see a blue there. We don't see a blue there. Indeed, and which means Icarus doesn't have as much ease to capitalize there.
Nice blast by Icarus, going to knock Endy away from that yellow. Yeah, Icarus wins this spawn quite handily, picking up a couple yellows
really
there.
Well done by him collecting those yellows.
He's still holding it around
next spawn
9.
looks comprised of red, save for one yellow gem, which Endy picks up. And for the most part, for the last almost minute or so, it's been a 10-point lead for Endy. So He's in a decent position to just carry this out until the clock runs out, but he has to take care of this. There's,
Oh, Mega coming
still
through.
2.5 minutes of horse here.
Yeah, they're gonna share most of that as the Mega actually bowled Endy into the top of the spawn. So Endy does come out on top of the last couple. He's up to 12-point lead as we're halfway through the match.
We see a spawn here on the shark. Again, not in the blue, which we very often see. But we've already seen a couple of blues already. And we have an all red spawn near the umbrellas, which it's hard to really do much
back.
anything here. These spawns can often be split, but we see on the blue. Icarus picks it up and is starting very, very, very slowly to close the gap. We see neither player on the rafts now. Endy finally gets up top, picking up both the yellows well before Icarus is able to catch up. And Icarus decides, rather than leaving the sailor there, able to pick up a power up.
Beautiful rebound.
Beautiful job by Endy to pick up a couple yellows. That's going to really, really help his lead. He is up by 15 more than, not quite able to capitalize on the yellow there most of that particular bench spawn.
Wow, that is
able to
quite
pick
the
up a couple of
expired go
points.
for Endy or Icarus there. He's not gonna be punished.
It's bold, yeah, and this volleyball court spawn is exactly what he needed. That's about as much as he could have asked for,
It should be Endy's blue.
considering where he was.
Picks it up.
And collects the blue, which, unsurprisingly, given that his play style is very mechanically heavy rather than
It's back.
strategically heavy.
Repeat spawn.
One more time. I'm not sure who got
And
that.
Endy got that one. Icarus tried to blast, but wasn't able to make it work. Dropping a lot of ha-has.
Endy has nearly 15 points on Icarus. Which, as far as this game is going, unless Icarus gets some miraculous spawn luck, Endy's going to take this 2-1 in his favor.
This is a yellow up on the umbrella, although it would take a miracle at this point to come back. Endy's going to get a nice 3-point line here on the volleyball court to secure it. Icarus knows this one is done. It's going to be going 2-1 in favor of Endy here. On Fun of the Sun of all maps, which I really thought Icarus would be quite comfortable on, but the blues went the way of Endy.
Even if Icarus was, maybe, whether emotionally or strategically, the favorite on Fun of the Sun, it was going to be 2-1 either way in favor of each player. It's nice to see that this match is currently, after 3 games out of a max of 7, as closely contested as you would hope for this to be. It's nice to not see a 3-0 so far. This deserves the tight game that it's been so far. So going into games 4, we have Cubile, Zenith, Prophetic, which is the projected pick, Gem Finding Folly, and Core.
Mm-hmm.
What does Icarus want here to bring this to 2-2?
I think Icarus would absolutely adore a Cubile pick here. I think Endy would prefer Zenith. I think neither of those will be lasting very long in this draft.
I think Zenith is one of Endy's best maps. Just think the way that he plays on it. He deals with those sloped trim just phenomenally. That's where the raw mechanics shines more than the strategy side.
And Wilches is streaming now for those that have been struggling with my stream. I'm sorry it's hard to record and stream at the same time. So his stream might be better quality. You can try that. I expect Endy will be taking away Core. Yeah, he definitely does that immediately. And he's probably going to take away Cubile as well. So I think Gem Finding Folly is where this one's going to end up. And there we go. Gem Finding Folly has been picked.
How do we feel about Gem Finding Folly? I feel like this is a map that, frankly, just from what I've heard about these two players in voice chats, just in casual conversation, neither of these players are a huge fan of Gem Finding Folly. This is a result of the other levels just being banned because the
other maps were all maps they like to play, but one player was just too good at them. Obviously, especially Prophetic and Zenith on the side of Endy and Cubile for Icarus. Those maps are just way too skilled for their respective players. So this is not
Who do you think
much.
is the favorite here?
I would probably lean towards Icarus here, tying this one up at 2-2. I think Endy has the mechanics to succeed on this sort of map, but the problem is he's not as familiar with the blast meta on this, where you want to default after every spawn for this double blast that you can see in the back.
Yeah, I was going to ask between these two players, who have very similar playstyles.
Ready.
What are the niches and how they
Go.
difference in how they differ? Sorry.
Yeah, I think Endy is a little bit better at the raw mechanics, but Icarus better at kind of the meta, I would say. Melee play is a strength of his compared to Endy. Endy can sometimes struggle against a lot of disruption tools like Blast and Megas. Yeah, I mean, honestly, these players play very similarly. It's probably the closest playstyle match of any match that we've seen in playoffs thus far, and that's why Icarus has been so scared at Endy coming into today's series.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to associate their playstyles with, frankly, just their other hobbies. And especially with this level building. 2 blues in a row.
I think that was the third there in a row, and they've been sharing them back and forth. It's basically a tie game, though. Icarus going to get the better end.
I might have missed the first one there. Just looking at the other ways that frankly they spend their time in their hobbies. Endy, you can see
Icarus misses.
Oh, Icarus should have gotten that. Should have gotten that blue. Endy picks up really fortunate pickup there.
They share that one.
And Endy, it looks like they really share that. Endy, when you look at this level building skill,
they share
it's
it.
a really nice chance, and they share that with the super speed. Both of them really nicely done.
Yeah, this game is just flying by. The blues are spawning left and right, and finally we get a little bit of a breather. Endy's going to be first to this one, has a little bit of a lead as well. 10 points that Icarus is going to have to make up somehow, and Endy's doing a great job defaulting between spawns for these super speeds.
Yeah, almost when you look at Endy's level building, for example, we have another blue.
Did Icarus miss that one too?
Everywhere today, and Endy's starting to get a 10-point lead.
Icarus brings it back.
3-1 would be tough to come back from for Icarus. He would have to win 3 in a row in order to win this match overall.
Yeah, the game is tightening up a little bit though. The lead is down to just 7, and the top blue's back. Endy's gonna miss that one.
Blue.
Should be a free blue for Icarus. He can't make it up. He can't make it up, and Endy's blast is going to recharge. That's going to be
trying to make the super
they share.
Icarus has a frankly fighting chance. Consider that blues are a 10-point swing in the grand scheme of things. If that wasn't shared, Endy would be probably 20 points ahead of, or 15 to 20 points ahead of Icarus. That would be a lot for him to climb.
Interesting camp spot there from Endy. They're going to split this spawn again. These spawns are not really what Icarus wants to see if he wants to come back with only a minute left to play. Although he does lose out on that yellow to Endy as well. We have another blue here. I'm not sure Endy has the blast. That one is going to go the way of Icarus, but Endy does a great job mitigating the damage on everything else, as well as they're going to share that blue. Okay, lead is still 10.
It's just beautifully done.
Triple yellow spawn is pretty big for both players here. Icarus is out of the pit first, and gonna win this spawn, but it's not by enough to make a dent. There needs to be another blue for Icarus to have a chance. He's gonna get a nice respawn up top, and he's already picked up everything else. And yeah, Icarus is just waiting this out. He can't afford to do this. He has given up. He has said, Endy, you can win this game. I'm done. And that's exactly what's gonna happen.
To be fair, it is tough to get a heavy momentum swing, whether you're in the lead or not. It is tough to get a heavy momentum swing on Gem Finding Folly, given that it's such a close map. 8-7 on blues. There weren't 15 different blues there, but even if you share them, that is a lot. There's a lot going on there. So, it's tough to really gain a serious advantage on Gem Finding Folly just within one spawn, unless someone, royally screws up. So, Endy is ahead 3-1. The next draft currently consists of Architecture, Basin Hill, Blast Club, Court, and Concentric, the latter of which is the projected pick. How does Icarus get back into this match? He was looking phenomenal while he was practicing, earlier this evening, but for him earlier this afternoon. How does Icarus get back into this match? What is the map that he wants, and what is the playstyle that he wants to beat Endy and make this match 3-2?
Yeah, unfortunately, Icky's mental is currently in the gutter. It's definitely difficult to recover from that. And the map pool is not doing him any favors either, with Architecture and Basin Hill both being favorites of Endy that Icarus is not particularly known for. Other than that, you're going to a map that is very much not in either player's wheelhouse, which would be Blast Club, Core, or Concentric. I don't think either of these players want to play on any of those. However, both of them have the ability to force them if needed. So Icarus would be able to ban out Architecture and Basin Hill, which would result in a lesser favored map here for both players. And that's probably what he needs to do, but it would mean that Endy gets the choice of which one of those least favored maps they get to play.
Yeah. Endy has currently banned Core, which frankly is not all that surprising. Icarus very vocally expressing his disdain for Architecture, Basin Hill, Blast Club, and Concentric. 3 of those, which are not the most adored maps in the world. Icarus bans Basin Hill, leaving Architecture, Blast Club, and Concentric remaining. Endy bans Blast Club. Not surprising.
The projected pick is coming true here, and we're going to Concentric.
We are going to Concentric.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
What are we doing here? How does Icarus take this back? That center blue from a recent update to PQ. That center blue was taken out. The preview image there is a bit deceptive. What does Icarus have to do to have any chance of winning this match?
I don't even know the last time either of these players would have played Concentric, but my guess is Icky has more recent experience. But you need to control the blast and the megas between spawns. The mega, especially near the center, is very, very powerful. And if you're going to immediately die and type the good game out, so not in the best place start-wise. And don't forget this match is on Hillsborough. So it is going to be better ping for Endy on a very important ping map. So that is going to be another factor in Endy's favor here. Icarus doing a good job on this spot, though. Going to get almost everything. Endy with a nice blast.
On a closed map like this, ping is going to be massive, especially considering that there are, what, four gems per spawn? I can't remember if like a blue spawns at 5 gems can spawn, but I think it's 4 every time.
4 every time, yeah.
It's 4 every time, which means that Icarus just has to be that half-second faster to every spawn. That's a really, really nice advantage to him. But yeah, Icarus just has to be that split-second faster to every spawn because Endy does have the cross-country United States ping advantage. Really, really well done by him.
Nice little lead here for Icarus so far. He's been more consistent as well as been the beneficiary of some great yellow spawns nearby. Have to see if he can connect with the Mega. He does knock Endy away. That's going to make him forced to respawn on the edge of the map, which is crucial at a nice center spawn for Icarus. It's going to repeat spawn too. So lead is only building for Icarus. This could be his foothold to get his way back in this series.
Icarus is leading by about 10 points, and considering that the blue spawn in the middle isn't there anymore, is that right?
Yep, it can't come. So these leads are not quickly eaten into.
Yeah, which means that Endy just has to be, just a slight bit faster, just a hair faster than Icarus.
Beautiful mega super speed from Endy to get 5 points.
How does Icarus defend this lead? What is his game plan? Is it just taking advantage of blasts and megas? Is it defensive play? Is it offensive play? Just by being that split second faster. What's the best
big stumble for
strategy here?
I think what he needs to do is actually deny the power-ups more than use them offensively. If he can prevent Endy from picking up some of these super speeds and megas, it's going to be very difficult for Endy to win spawns quickly enough to come back. But that's exactly what Endy is doing right now. As the lead has closed to 3 points, make that tied. Everything has gone the way of Endy on these last few spawns. He is mounting an insane comeback. The spawns are favorable, and he is doing everything he needs to. Now taking the lead by 4 points, and Icarus, he's watching his lead crumble. Will he be able to lock in and bring this one back?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's definitely it is hard to recognize sometimes that leaving the last gem in preparation for the next spawn on small maps like Concentric is really, really important because even just picking up a super speed, for instance, on this map is really important, and both of these players have, about 50 seconds left to compete. This is Icarus's tournament on the line, and he is down by about 5 or 6 points.
Nice yellow for Icarus. He's going to be able to win this spawn. Endy with a little bit of a fumble there. Now 1 point lead, now tied. Spawn is closer to Icarus. This is a spawn he would love to see. Has the mega he needs. But Endy with a beautiful blast. But he doesn't have blast to get these yellows. It's going to go the way of Icarus. 30 seconds left to play. Icarus has reclaimed a very narrow lead here. Not going to be able to reach the yellow. Endy grabs that one. 5 point lead hold. 20 seconds left to play. And we're slowing back down. Endy going to be able to secure the yellow. It's going to be extremely close here. Yellow going the way of Icarus.
Really like the yellow here. That is good.
That has to be
really
it.
Good for me. Icarus has taken the lead again, and getting that next yellow is massive for him. We bring the match, we bring the series to 3-2, and I believe, does Icarus have the next last ban?
He has the server advantage, which is arguably more important here. Survives Concentric.
Right.
And these are some maps that I think Icarus would be pretty happy with. In fact, Outlook was already played in the kind of restarted series, so I don't think we agreed on any sort of rule to ban them from the replay.
Yeah, alongside Outlook, we see Vibrancy Grounds, Vortex Effect, Playground, and Ziggurat. Outlook, both players very outspokenly not a fan of that map. What does Icarus need here to bring this to Game 7?
I think Icarus would love Playground here. He's very comfortable with that map. He famously defeated Connie with a 7-0 on Blues on that map in their regular season match in the Contender Division. So that would be heavily favored for him, I would think. I think Endy would love to see Vortex Effect here. It's one of his most comfortable maps.
Yeah, I think Endy's just pure raw skill heavy, skill heavy, just kind of nature. Yes, indeed, we really like Vortex Effect. Vortex Effect is, you've seen the map. There are gaps everywhere, left and right. It's a really hard map to maneuver, and like I was saying earlier, you can see the difference between the slightly we see Outlook banned first, probably not a surprise to anyone. Between these two players, you can see just in the general nature the difference between Endy being a little bit more talent heavy. You can also see in his level building, but Icarus has spent so much time playing, for example, competitive Rocket League. He has spent just hours and hours focusing on strategy. So I think, indeed, Playgrounds would be a great map for Icarus. And Vortex Effect would be great for Endy.
Yeah, I think Icarus
Vibrancy
knows
Grounds
he needs to ban Vortex Effect here, but he doesn't want to. So he's weighing this decision very carefully.
Icarus accurately saying, "Fuck me, dude." This is a tough decision.
Yeah, he's realized what I just said. And we're going to Vibrancy Grounds. Endy knows that Playground is a very strong pick for... Yeah, see? Exactly. These two players know each other. And as a result, we are getting some lesser common maps here.
Yeah, this wasn't the advantage to Icarus that Playground would have been. But how do each player fare on Vortex Effect?
You mean the Vibrancy Grounds?
Sorry, on Vibrancy Grounds. Both start with V. Big break here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just from numbers alone, Endy has, Icarus has the map skill score advantage, but again, these two play very similarly. What's going to be the edge for Icarus, and what's going to be the edge for Endy?
This map is very easy to have some random bullshit happen to you. There's like moving bumpers, there's moving gems. I think Endy's going to be generally better at avoiding that, but I think Icarus is going to be better at the meta overall and defaulting to good power-ups, especially after the power-up changes that were done this year.
Yeah, I think there's 2 power-ups in that grassy section. Hoping to see that Icarus takes advantage of those a
And he hits a
lot.
tree right off the bat, so bullshit has already occurred, but he is going to win the spawn off of a good route. And there's some more bullshit as a bumper and a fan sends Icarus off the cliff.
Yeah, you hope to see that
repeat
at least one, but really, really nice for Icarus. You hope to see that both players take advantage of the little mechanical niches that are so available to be taken advantage of on vibrancy grounds. The blocks on the slope leading up to that high part, or the trees, or the especially like kind of the underground water sections on this part of the level where the 2 players are now. And he picks up a super suit, which is nice to have
Not for this spawn,
in
unfortunately.
your pocket. Yeah, not for this spawn, you just said, but especially given that this is such a small map, with super speed, you can instantly get to another spawn. The only
Mega for Icarus.
other
That's going to
kind of
send
item
Endy
in
into the
this,
water.
it's beautiful.
Oh no.
I think the one downside of the Mega here is where Endy currently is, in that tunnel. It's really hard to fit in there, and that's 4 points. That's 2 yellows. Icarus would really
He's waiting for the
that.
gyrocopter respawn right here, and he's actually going to get a very favorable repeat spawn. Oh! The gyrocopter into the cannon is going to send Icarus.
And he pops a Mega. Icarus is going somewhere else. Icarus. It looks like both of them share that yellow. Icarus is leading with about 5 points or so above Endy.
Yep.
So in a position to defend, and with a Mega there and offsetting Endy, just slightly even better, waiting for the next spawn to happen, which conveniently for Endy he is closer to.
Oh, Icarus can't get this yellow done. He continually hits the bumper. No one can pick up this gem. Like I said, falling subject to the bullshit again, and the lead is down to 3 with Endy having the super speed default in hand once again.
Icarus still has that lead, but a really, really nice spot to hang out in preparation for the next spawn. Picking up that super jump is going to be helpful. Not particularly this spawn that has just appeared in front of us, but especially in this next spawn. Nice job picking yellow. Looks like both of them shared that.
Oh, big
Icarus
blast
picks
by
up
Endy.
the next Mega Marble, but Endy blasts him off. Icarus does still have the lead, but it's only by just a couple points. And on any map, just a couple points is nothing.
Yep.
Looks like Endy picks up a super speed there.
Lead is 2 points. We have our first blue, I want to say. Yeah, and Endy with a beautiful line, but misses! He respawns on top, and the Mega Marble doesn't connect from Icarus. This is devastating. He keeps falling off and stumbling. Will he prep the Ultra Blast? Is he going to stay up here? He's going to get the red, but next spawn right next to Endy. He took a gamble. It did not pay off. He needs to be able to recoup some of these reds. He will do so. And a blue respawns right on top of Icarus. There's no taunt for that one except from Endy being very frustrated, as he should be. That was some icky blue luck we have become all too accustomed to this year.
Yeah, I was about to say that the blast and the super speed was exactly what Endy wanted there. The blast for getting up to those bridges, if you will, and the super speed for collecting a line of gems, given how thin those platforms are. But that blue really helped Icarus, who is using a gyrocopter, and it's proving beneficial to him.
Yeah.
He has a solid 10-point lead, which is pretty nice to have on vibrancy grounds, a small map
not
like
enough
this.
time to come back unless we see another blue here, so that's exactly what Endy needs. He's not gotten it so far, and Icky can just wait for these reds that take forever to clear. Yeah, Endy's struggling. He knows you have to pick up every single one, and that is not a blue spawn. Icarus is going to push us to a decisive 3-3 scoreline.
Really nice for Icarus.
This is still anyone's series. The signs of life for Icarus on Concentric have blossomed into a full-on comeback for him.
I think anyone spectating this tournament, and anyone who knows Icarus and Endy well enough as opponents, would have hoped for this to go to Game 7. Going into this deciding match, we have Skate Battle Royale, Tilo, Galactic Islands, All Angles, and the projected pick, Cubile.
Yeah, Cuba will be huge for Icarus, of course. We are on Hillsborough, which is Endy's preferred server, so that is going to be a little bit of a factor.
Yeah, Cubile, a slightly more melee-heavy map would be really nice for Endy, given that he does have ping advantage. But Skate Battle Royale, Tilo, especially Galactic Islands, those all slightly go, actually not slightly, pretty comfortably go in favor of Endy. And then just stats-wise, purely looking at the numbers, it looks like Icarus would prefer all angles. Of these 5 maps, what would each player prefer?
I mean, definitely Cubile for Icarus. I would say probably Galactic Islands for Endy. Maybe SBR. It's tough to say. I don't think there's anything in here that Endy would be super comfortable with. Maybe all angles he'd be favored on. I know he's had some good ones, but we are going to be going to Galactic Islands as our decider here, which I am personally extremely excited for. And my co-caster is muted, so we will just be talking over here. Galactic Islands. It's game 6, but it's actually game 7. 3-3. Whoever wins this is going to be moving on to the winner's semifinals to play Frostfire. So this one is for all the marbles, as they say in Marble Path.
Your co-caster is fortunately unmuted just in time for the final match here. So, Galactic Islands. Who's the favorite on this? Who wants this more than the other?
I have no idea, dude. I think Endy is going to be better at the intrinsic natural mechanics you need to navigate around this map, but in terms of actual knowledge of where the power-ups are and how best to use them, I think Icarus might be favored.
Plus, I think given the structure, and the size of this map, knowledge of power-ups is going to be just slightly more beneficial.
Very nice blue by
winning.
Endy.
Hey, that was just fantastic. And Icarus is still stuck on the middle gray island, while Endy is able to claim the rest of that spawn
and went over the top
and leave with a 10-point.
Yeah, I'm not sure Endy knew exactly where this spawn with all the pyramids was. It can be a little bit difficult to read this island if you aren't experienced with the map. I'm sure he knew where it was, but maybe a little moment of hesitation that I don't think Icarus would have had.
Icarus already on the way with a gyrocopter actively running, going into the next spawn, but a super speed is the fastest of all power-ups.
Oh no!
Endy is only leading by about 7, but that is not that's not an edge hit. That's not a wall hit that Icarus wants, and Endy is able to lead the next spawn with a 15-point lead. Icarus really has some work to do here.
Yeah, and Icarus needed a natural bounce there. He is still going to get enough of this spawn to be respectable, but Endy is doing a better job with the prep here. And I'm not sure that Icarus knows the best way up here to this spawn. It's going to be so many yellows going the way of Endy. Icarus not even flirting with the idea of using the bouncy floor to get up here, which you need to do. So Endy almost with double points so far. And we have another blue that both players need to get. Icarus, he super speeds into a block. This lead is becoming insurmountable, and his mental is surely... Yeah, he's saying he quits. But we have a huge spawn worth a lot of points here up on the pink island. And he's still playing.
Yeah, despite this being I don't want to say tiebreaker, a game-deciding match on Game 7, a 30-point lead is not what you want to see. And he picks up another blue, which is just rubbing salt in the wound for Icarus.
It's a repeat spawn.
That lead has extended to 40, which Icarus is able to pick up, but Endy with a beautiful super speed wall hit with a gyrocopter active, able to gain you see that right, 40-point advantage on Galactic Islands here in Game 7.
Yeah, Endy, as always, a natural with the power-up chanting, but gets an unfortunate respawn that is going to give this spawn over to Icarus. Can he get the blue? Yes, very nicely done there, and he's going to get a couple yellows to compensate as well. So, I mean, a comeback is possible. I've seen more than this comeback on Galactic Islands, but Icarus doesn't currently have a power-up, which is going to be problematic for him. Endy already at the spawn. That's going to take a lot of the wind out of this momentum that Icarus had suddenly built in those last few spawns.
Yeah, in a gem-heavy map like Galactic Islands, when you are a player with just phenomenal raw mechanics, you're going to get unless you blunder heavily, you're going to get a gem in any spawn unless you
Nice
intentionally
shard for Endy,
leave it
who
alone.
says good game. I don't think he meant any malice by that, more so that he hit the ice shard, but I'm sure it's not going to do any favors for Icarus's mental.
You have to give a little bit of credit so far, even though it's just
Down to 30.
slightest spark
Oh,
of a comeback.
and another
It is down to
massive.
30. It used to be 40, but that's not what you wanted from Icarus, and you have to feel that maybe pressure is starting to build upon him.
Yeah.
Having super jumped with a gyrocopter into the ceiling of that
Time's starting to
that
run
platform
out. He
there.
needs all of this spawn and a lot more in terms of momentum. He's actually going to start from the top here, which is going to give the blue over to Endy. I don't blame him for trying that sort of route. He needs not only himself to do well, but Endy to blunder. And so if he started from the back, he probably could have gotten everything if Endy made a mistake. But that is just...
Nice job winning the majority of that spawn for Icarus. But, again, it is a
beautiful line again.
35-point lead for Endy. If Icarus were to come back here, it would just be unprecedented.
And that rebound's going to take a lot of time to respawn
spawn
as
luck
well.
Here.
Yeah, the time has run out, unfortunately, for Icarus, and time has run out on his time in the upper bracket as well. This one is going to almost certainly be Endy moving on to face Frostfire. Icarus, unfortunately, with a few too many catastrophic mistakes, and I will say Galactic Islands is a map that punishes those sorts of mistakes more than any other.
Yeah, and this is just slightly unfortunate to see. I mean, obviously, you want the perfect cinematic drama. Honestly, especially like this, Icarus would have really appreciated the spawn, just like this one, a minute ago. But Endy is able to win the last match, Game 7, by nearly 30 points. Look at those yellow gems. That really made the difference there.
Yep, and it did feel like Endy was able to take his foot off the gas a little bit once he built that 50-point lead. So I don't really see it as even a close game in the Reds and Blues. But we are going to have Endy joining us here. How are you feeling after a very tight match there?
That was rough, man. Definitely the guy put up a fight. I just kind of wish he didn't. I feel like he kind of checked out at the end there, but this was a tough one because we both like the same maps, but I can't let him win on those maps, so we have to kind of. I never put this much thought into banning before, and then we always end up going to maps we both don't like, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah, I said many times that beyond just you two liking the same maps, you two have very similar playstyles, and congratulations for coming out on top of a deservedly very close match. It was 3-4 in the end out of out of a best of 7. It did go to 7 games.
Yeah,
So
he was coming
really,
up.
really well done being able to capitalize on that final match. Not quite the cinematic last effort from both of you that we were hoping to see, but you can only ask for so much. Endy, you are now put up against the number 2 seed in the tournament, or sorry,
Yeah,
in the
I'm very
playoffs.
scared about that one.
You were up against Frostfire, which is a tall task. I think a doable task, but you really have to be on, having a good day. You have to be on your game. What
Yeah,
do
I
you
have to
think
be in like my best form possible.
What do you think might help you out beyond just being on your best form in order to make the finals here?
Getting a good night's sleep and drinking some water and having a healthy breakfast.
So it extends to just your personal life and not just your in-game practice. That's
I'm not
just
kidding.
as important.
Like if that dude catches me on a day at like where I just got off like a 10-hour shift, like it's good. It's 4-0, yo. But I think on a good day I could probably pick some games off him.
Well, Endy, if you were to lose to Frostfire, you would play one of DK Man, John, the Turk, and Wilches. Who would be your who do you think is your favorite opponent out of those four? Who would you want to play the most?
Uh, Wilch was fun, but I already played him. Same with DK. That was probably one of my favorite matchups so far. Those games were really intense. I'd love to play Jean in a tournament just because I haven't, you know. So I'd probably go with Jean. I need to
I
see
think
tournament
you
Jean.
I think you and John would be a great matchup. I've had the pleasure of not only facing against him, but beating him in a Swiss rounds match. So
Yeah,
but
I thought you were
anyway,
gonna say
yeah,
Turk just so you can
congratulations
play the
on the
whole
road
series
to
on
win.
Hillsborough this time.
Oh, that is true. I guess I just never really played Turk that much, so I don't really know what to expect. So that could be
It's gonna
exciting.
be a very funny
Either Jean
series.
or But yeah, Icky, great opponent. It was really I really enjoyed our matches. It was fun. Even though we played Vibrancy Grounds, I still had fun.
And Concentric. How did
Oh
you
yeah,
feel about the
Concentric.
blue that spawned on top of Icarus on Vibrancy Grounds? And the
That made me
quadruple blue on
so
Megas.
the quadruple blue is just stupid. I had I think like halfway through that game I had already checked out. I was like, well, I'm just gonna save my energy for the next game because there's no way that that's recoverable, you know. Um, so yeah, I waved the flag early on that one, and then the Vibrancy Grounds blue, pretty. It kind of upset me. I'm not gonna lie because I was climbing my way up. I was starting to get in the flow of things, and then suddenly, yeah, that blue has always ruined matches for me. I think it happened in a game with Misty too. I'm just never like. It always comes when I'm never like prepared for it. I feel like.
Andy, how did you feel about going into Game 7 on Galactic Islands? Do you think that you had the
So scared.
advantage there, or do
No.
you think Icarus, with having won the past two games, do you think he had the momentum there?
I was really scared honestly because I know that's like one of his stronger maps. I thought it was over,
Well,
to be honest.
well,
Well,
you perf-
I never think it's
you
over, okay? I never like give up and stop trying, but like I was pretty nervous, you know? I was like, this is gonna be tough.
well, you performed well, obviously, really well on it. And if it makes you feel any better, the match between Frostfire and Misty and Maestrox, Maestrox did take Frostfire to a game 7. So, these two matches had the same outcome. So, do you think it's pretty reasonable that you could possibly win against Frostfire, especially because both of you are very speed heavy in terms of your playstyle?
I think if I play a little more offensively, I could get some games off of him because I noticed it's usually what he doesn't do.
What are you
So I don't
looking
know.
to
I don't
improve?
really have any
Uh,
expectations about that one, to be honest with you.
what are you looking to improve on top of your game against Icarus?
Hmm. My map pool, probably. But also like with Frost, I feel like he's also very like map dependent on how he plays. I don't know. He beat Misty on Marvel Agility Course, so maybe I'd have to force myself to play those maps. If they
Vision, do
ever
you
end
have
up in the
anything
pool.
left to add?
Well, Endy has now secured top 6 in this tournament despite not originally intending to play. So, how does that make you feel?
I'm having fun with it. It's just like we're all so close. I'm just like it's just like it's just fun playing with my friends and making it like all serious and stuff. I like it.
And yeah, I will say that I think this is a much better or a much deserved representation of your just skill in gem hunt, considering that you went out in the round of 16 against Babarica last year in the 2025 summer premiere. So congratulations for capitalizing on, I think, making it as far or at least as far into the tournament as you deserve. Hopefully more than that. If you're able to beat Frostfire, that would be an incredible achievement for you. And
Yeah,
otherwise, if you're
tall
able,
order.
if you end up losing uh, to Frostfire, but you win your next game, you would be in the losers round minor finals, which is a phenomenal achievement. It's more or less the semifinals.
Yeah, top
of the
4 that
losers
would be.
round.
So
So it's
Yeah,
nice to
I'd be
see
happy even
you
getting there.
very happy that he
knowing
has played this year. It's been great to have you.
knowing
Thank you.
mechanically how good you are at this game. It's really exciting to see you finally get this. So congratulations on your efforts, and unless Shadow Visions has anything to add here.
Nope, that's it from me. Thank you everyone for coming out. Sorry for the technical difficulties and the whole rescheduling thing.
Best of luck against Frostfire, and also just an immense amount of appreciation for your sportsmanship, considering the mental issues, or sorry, not the mental issues, the personal health issues that.
Well, we
No,
all,
the
we all have
mental
mental issues around here,
The,
so.
An immense amount of appreciation considering the personal health issues that Icarus was dealing with when you first started your match. I hope
Yeah,
that
man. I
isn't
mean,
forgotten.
at the end of the day, like Icky's my friend first, and I'm not trying to sound like a golden retriever or anything, but like I'd rather him like have fun when we play than like me win.
I hope
Like
anyone
without,
can say about their opponent. So anyway, congratulations on your win against Icarus. Best of luck against Frostfire. And Shadow Vision's a pleasure to co-commentate with you once again.
Yep, thank you everybody, and see you next game. I think the next match will be Friday between Turk and Wilches, so see you then.
that'll be fun.
Cheers.